Hello, hello. How are you doing? So I'm really happy to see you today. And there is one important thing I will announce. So you took part in the Gala project, yeah, and sent all the presentations, pictures, videos to me. So I, together with my colleagues, we voted for the best project, and I'm ready to announce the winner. This is Karina Vishnevska. So my congratulations to you. Our administrator will call and tell you all the details concerning the prize that you won. Great. And there is one more thing. If you haven't got your present yet, you still have a chance. Today, it won't be for the fastest, the maybe the best comments, the most active. The only thing you need to do is to send me a name when I ask for it. And then randomly through the wheel, we will decide who will be the luckiest person, and that person will get the prize. Great. So the topic of our today's webinar, by the way, this is the last webinar, yeah, and it's storytelling. Do you like stories? If yes, send me plus. If no, send me minus. So the question is, do you like stories? So some of you does. What do you prefer more, to tell stories or to listen to them? As for me, listening is the most interesting part of it. What about you? Telling or listening? So while you're commented, let's look at the agenda of our webinar. We will start with a discussion. Also, I'll share with you the importance of storytelling, yeah, and what makes a great story. Also, you will find out how to develop a story, what structure and what elements you need for it. And by the end of our webinar, we will practice storytelling yourself. Let's start with the discussion. To introduce you to the topic, I want to show you a short video, and after watching, you need to type here in comments what was the most surprising thing, or what is the most surprising thing for you. Ready?
I want this Pope. Built in 1928. Designed by the Baglietto Yard. Variazzi. Italy. Nothing like it in the world. Rarer than rare. It's not for sale. I want to buy it with money. I want to win it. With a dance. With a dance. Dance. Why did I say I was dance? Why did I say I was dance? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Just put it up at the front. It definitely feels too tight here. This is perfect. Is that a piano? Is that working?
Yeah. piano, but it's got a lovely tune, you know. What did you want it for anyway?
A bit of fun.
No. Fun?
Let's get on with it then. Hello. I want to buy these books. Built in 1928 by the renowned Balietto Venice, Italy. Nothing like it in the world. Rarer than rare. It's not for sale. I don't want to buy it with money. I want to buy it with a story. A story.
So, what was the most surprising thing for you? Is there anything that surprised you? Or maybe the episode that you liked the most? So, as for the plot, yeah, you might see two men, Jude Law, the youngest one, and Ganini. They were sitting on the board discussing the price of the board, yeah, that was exclusive and unique. So Jude Law, he suggested that he would win the board, and buy it not with money, but with the dance. And Ganini agreed first. After that, there was another one when they were sitting together again, and Ganini wanted his board back. And he suggested that again, he would buy this board, but not with money, with the story. So isn't it surprising? Buying the things which really cost a lot just with a story or with a dance? Probably it is. So can you share with me what is the craziest, the wildest, or the funniest story that has ever happened to you or somebody you know? So it shouldn't be long, just 1-2 sentences. What happened to you? And you think that this is craziest, wildest, or funniest? So for now, I can't see any comments. Do you have any of the stories? If you don't have any of the stories, send me minus, please. Okay, so think about it for now, and I'll tell you about the importance of storytelling. First of all, we will start with the definition of the storytelling itself. So what is storytelling? It describes the social and cultural activity of sharing stories as means of entertainment, education, cultural preservation, and instilling moral values. Why is storytelling important and essential to effective communication? Here on the slide, you might see some reasons. Let's start with the first one. Stories are more impactful than facts. They get attention, they get remembered, and they change the perceptions. The second fact is that the most effective way to engage your audience is with storytelling, as human beings are wired for them. Our brains often do not distinguish between fiction and reality. Therefore, we immerse ourselves in stories as if we were a part of them. Stories make us experience information as opposed to just consuming it. Finally, when we tell stories to others that have really helped us shape our thinking and way of life, we can have the same effect on them too. So there was one message, yeah, but I read it now. I can't read it now, unfortunately. Okay, let's wait a little bit more. So don't forget to share your story. And one more thing to mention, in order to take part in the lottery for winning the prize, you need to have at least some comments for the question that they ask you. Great. So with this one, it's clear. Yeah. What about the great story? Effective storytelling involves a deep understanding of human emotions, motivations, and psychology in order to truly move an audience. Luckily, storytelling is something we all do naturally, starting at a very young age. But there is a difference between good storytelling and great storytelling. Great storytelling is what we are going to talk today. For this reason, you might see 6 rules of great storytelling. The research is done or taken from the Pixar. Yeah, I'm sure that you know this company very well. Pixar is arguably one of the greatest storytellers of our generation. Over the years, they won 13 Academy Awards, 9 Golden Globes, and 11 Grammys. Pixar has developed their own 22 rules of storytelling. And here are top six, that we can all learn from them. We will start with the first rule, which is called great stories are universal. Great storytelling is about taking a piece of human condition. So things like birth, growth, emotional aspiration, conflict, so all them convey this unique situation. Acclaimed Pixar director Pete Docter puts it perfectly. What you are trying to do when you tell a story is to write about an event of your life that made you feel some particular way. And what you're trying to do when you tell a story is to get the audience to have the same feelings. One way you can do this is to pull apart the stories you like. Break down every little element about what you love about them. Those are real feelings you're having, and you have to recognize them in detail in order to tell a great story yourself. As for the second point of the storytelling, great stories have clear structure and purpose. Obviously, you have to make sure that your story has clear and logical structure. But what comes before that is clear understanding of why you're telling the story. As Pixar writes, before telling a story, you need to answer a set of questions. The first question is, why must you tell this story? So the reason of telling. The second, what's the belief burning within you that your story feeds off? And what greater purpose does this serve? What does it teach? By crafting a story that you are passionate to tell because it serves a real person, your stories will have bigger impact on the world. This is the reason why in childhood all children adore listening to stories, fairy tales, just because they have this impact on them. The third rule is great story have a character to root for. In another way, we can call it an underdog. Believe it or not, people want to root for you, like the main character. They love a good underdog. This might seem straightforward, but it's worth keeping in mind anytime you're creating a story. Pixar explains that we, as the audience, admire a character for trying more than for this success. In other words, it's more about the character's journey than it is actual destination. When your character is battling against all odds, facing adversity, or their back is against the wall, well, then you have yourself making a great story. In our modern society, for example, everyone loves a good rags to riches story. How many times has Forbes published an article about the fearless entrepreneur that dropped everything, almost failed dozens of times along the way, yet still managed to create a multi-million-dollar business? So definitely a great amount of it. Gives the people an unexpected hero to root for. As for the fourth slide, I will need your help with comments. So, as the rule itself, great stories appeal to your deepest emotions. Here we will talk about emotions, and you might guess from which cartoon these characters on the slide are. If you ever watched the Pixar movie Inside Out, you will recognize these emotions as characters in the movie. Please comment in chat what emotions are here on the slide. So there are 6 basic emotions that psychologists define. What are they? I need your comments here. What emotions do you know which are the main? Yes, Andrei, good. It's from Inside Out. What emotions are presented here? So the character in the middle, yeah, this is just, you can understand how we call her from her smile, reaction. What is it? So I need all 6 emotions. Yeah, okay, we have 2 and they are right. Fear and sadness. We need 4 more. Joy. Possible, but with another word. We call it happiness. So fear, sadness, happiness. 3 more. Anger, yes, good. And 2 more. Okay, with 2, I might help you. This is surprise and disgust. Psychologists generally agree that there are 6 basic emotions like anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. Recognize these various emotions in yourself and think about the why. Why are you feeling a certain way? How might you be able to take the why behind your emotions and tell a story? Yeah, great. And you're right with disgust as well. Continuously question yourself in order to understand your own emotional reactions to stories so that you can learn to tell more authentic stories that reach and move people where it counts. Yeah, it's 5 because you've missed surprise. Yeah, surprise, it's the 6th emotion. Great. We have number 5 as for the rules. Great stories are surprising and unexpected. We will all sing the classic fairy tale storyline. A helpless princess in need and a charming prince swooping in to save the day. It might be boring and totally outdated. What makes modern stories compelling are when your perception of reality changed in some way. Creators like Pixar and Walt Disney use animated movies, as vehicles to address real-life phenomena, issues, stereotypes, and norms. Movies such as Brave, Coco, Tangled, and Moana help us to understand and reflect on big, human-centered topics that we might not otherwise take time out of our day to think about. Many times, those topics or themes are surprising and unexpected, leaving the audience thinking about the story well after it's over. If you're stuck on coming up with something truly unique, Pixar recommends to get rid of the first thing that comes to mind, then the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and challenge yourself to this dig deep. So the more deeper you dig, the better ideas will come to your mind. It's time for the sixth rule. Great stories are simple and focused. We, as audiences, know a good story when we see or hear one. Have you ever watched a movie or read a book where you had to keep asking yourself or maybe someone else what was happening in the plot? Not a great experience. When you do not understand what is going on, maybe the creator did something wrong. As creators, we naturally want to include as much information as possible in our stories. We want to pack the story full of characters and plot twists and dialogues. And often, we might not even realize that we are adding layers that do not need to be there. Pixar's advice here is to combine characters and hop over detours. While you as a creator may feel like you're losing lots of valuable stuff, it will set you free in the end and will allow your audience to get lost in the narrative. One way to find out if your story is easy to follow is to tell your friends or your family members who has never heard it before. Watch their face as you read it and try to see where they pause and what question they might have. And simplify, simplify, simplify. So each time, try to make it the most simplest way as you can. Now we will talk about the structure and the elements in order to develop the story. Can you suggest how many elements we need? The main one. We will call them W's elements. How many of them? So I need your comments. How many of the elements do we need for the story of the W's elements? So you might know that the main sentence of the story might answer some questions. What questions do we need? How many questions or how many main elements? Send me the number. 4. Yes, that is the correct answer. Great. So here you might see these 4 elements with the questions. Crucial elements of stories and storytelling include plot, characters, and narrative point of view. So remember that every story must include the 4 W's: who, what, when, and where. To start, break a story into 3 parts. The first part would be problem, second, journey, and the final one, solution. To develop a compelling story, you might use the story spine. Here on the slide, you can see the story spine formula, which was created by a professional playwright and improviser Ken Adams. It is said the following: you should start with once upon a time there was. Yeah, you've heard it so many times in any languages. The second one, every day, one day, because of that, and until finally. So if you just start with ideas, you don't know with what you should start, how can you finish, you can stick to this story spine. It might help you. But it's not obligatory. Now it's time to practice our storytelling. Come up with a story behind the object assigned to you by the teacher. Be ready to share. So the task is, here you can see the picture on the slide, and you should create short story, several sentences about the picture you can see. So I'll give you some time to think about it and send me the story. We'll practice with 12 stories. At least we will try. It's not so easy as it might seem, but I hope you will cope with it. So here on the picture, you might see worn-out trainers. Yeah. Don't forget to answer the 4 W's: who, what, when, and where, and include it in your story, the answers to all these questions. So do you have any ideas? So I can give you some examples of other stories. One day, one secret man was going in torn sneakers. I didn't notice him if he didn't call me. I went to him and he grabbed me in sneakers lorry. We were driving to prison. So this is one of the examples from the stories. There you might see the capturing episode here that you didn't expect to get with the ending. I can present one more. One day, the tourists were going from Ukrainian to America. The sneakers were dirty and torn, but they reached the point. So what about this story? Which of these two do you prefer more? Okay. So if you have no idea, send me minors. If you're ready with your story, share the story, please. Okay, some more stories about the sneakers. These sneakers were very rare, and the owner was a millionaire. But one day, a brutal burglar got into his house and stole these rare sneakers. Since childhood, the girl had an unusual appearance, because of which the other children bullied her. So this is just the beginning of the story. Yeah. No ideas. Okay, let's try with the mirror then. This is the second one. I'll tell you some examples as well. Maybe it will get you the ideas that you might use. One day, a woman found a mirror on the road. She thought it was a regular mirror. However, next second she looked at it, she found herself trapped in the mirror. There was a completely different world in it. So this is a kind of a fairy tale, yeah, a short story with the gripping plot. There is one more story I might share. Once upon a time, one girl was looked in a mirror. Suddenly, she didn't see her in other side from the mirror. She thought she's ghost, but in truth, it was just glass. So this is a story about an uneducated girl who couldn't distinguish. The third story is the following. Since childhood, the girl had an unusual appearance, because of which other children bullied her. But when she came home and looked at herself through the magic mirror, she saw the most beautiful person in the world. So what are your ideas about the mirror? One, two sentences. It shouldn't be a poem. Oh, great, we have the story. One day, a mysterious woman lost her mirror that wasn't just a mirror, it's mirror that knows past, present, and future. Interesting, with the connection of the language. Cool, thank you, Andy. So it's time to move to the third one. The third one is about the lamp. The story that I have For example, one sentence story. One day, we had bad lightning and we went to the shop to buy a new one. So here, just like a fact, yeah, there is no plot itself, but we have what we have. Let's look at others. This lamp is very beautiful and it was made by the order of the queen. So special lamp only for a queen. It's a 19th century lamp and it is a present to lady from very polite man. So it seems really difficult to come with the idea with this lamp. But you can suggest that this is a magic lamp. Yeah, you can rub and maybe the genie will come in. What are your ideas? So while you're typing, I'll show you the next one. This is about a mug with money. There is also one interesting story about the lamp that I might share. The road had been full of monsters. A group of people thought that found all lamp that was source of their power. They destroyed it and monsters disappeared. So as you might see the lamp being in a room, we can suggest that children afraid of being alone, yeah, because of the monsters who are hiding under the bed. And this is just a magic lamp when all monsters disappear. So a funny story with the mug and money. When Mr. Scrooge wasn't as known as now, he drank a cup of money every day. And then he got idea that made a lot of money. So there might be the joke that I would prefer drinking a cup of money every day as well. And this is my favorite drink. So what are your stories, maybe about the lamp or the money? Cool, we have one more comment. Once upon a time, girl find a strange lamp that can transform itself. Cool. So no matter what shape it is, yeah, the transformation might be of any shape, anything you want. In different items with this red color. We preserve the color but change the form. Great. Let's look at some other ideas with the mug. This mug of coins was a piggy bank for a child. One millionaire loved eating, drinking, and money. What are your ideas with this one? So you have time to think about it, and I'll present the next picture. Here you might see the button. Mom asked her daughter to find a button for the dress, and the daughter found a slightly unusual button. The button was made by a grandmother for her grandson who went to war. Once upon a time, in the very big castle lived one wizard, and he had this magic button. When he gave this button to people, these people would become a frog. No ideas as well? Okay, maybe some ideas with this one. Here you might see the piano with flowers. What happened to it? Also, we have one more story with the button. Many years ago, one wizard buried a button in the ground and said, "Whoever finds it will become the happiest person." And many years later, a boy whose mother was seriously ill finds the button, and his mother recovers and lives happy life for a long time. As for the sixth picture you might see on the slide, the following story. Young pianist finished playing her melody. One man gives her a bouquet of violets, but her heart belongs to someone else and she leaves them on the piano. Or another story, in the big city was a popular musician, and one day he is died, and many people are putting flowers for a piano. This one really sad story. There is one more good story. Artist was playing a piano when suddenly grass and flowers started growing on. Artist was scrapped, but he continued playing. That was a challenge from good of plants, and he posted. Like a mystery story with some plants growing instead of someone's will. Some centuries ago, a poor man came to his rich family named Rose crashed away. He put a curse that Rose will kill his family, and it happened, and all house was in roses. So what about this picture? Are there any ideas? Okay, let's move to number 7. Here you might see chess. Yeah, what is happening? Okay, one story as an example. Lady invited you to play the chess with her. She has a white chess, and it looks like she's win. This game of chess wasn't played because the German broke in and killed all the players. So also tragic with some war references. Once upon a time, there were two best friends. They knew each other over 61 years, and every Sundays they're playing chess. There is one more story with piano. This story is about a piano that has seen many deaths. The most famous musician loved to play this piano because it sounded in a special way. And one day, the war began. People have forgotten about the piano and all the joys of life. After many years, the only thing that made the piano rejoice was a small bouquet of flowers left by a young lady on the last day of her life. So this is the circulation of the lifespan. One more story about the piano. If you can play too good for this piano, you will open a portal to astrals that transform in the animation and abstract form. So, and they has some ideas with the transformation of different objects. Great, let's move to 8th picture. Here you can see a vacant room, yeah, with the book left on its chair. What is staying behind this picture? So there is a suggestion that it was a cheap photo studio. You go to this place and see the book, but don't see photographer. You take the book and you go to another universal. Also similar to the ideas with Andres portal, yeah, to another universe, another place. What else do we have? In the attic, in an abandoned house, every time one spirit reads a book. So do you have any ideas with this picture? Maybe like philosophical one. For a person who can't read, the room is vacant. But for ones who is really educated and knowledgeable, the room is full of another world. And each time when the new book appears, you can travel all over the world, explore more and more mysterious things. So no ideas for this one. Okay, take your time to think about it. I'll present next picture with number 9. Here the plot is simple, yeah, but you can create a lot of things with telling a story. In the attic, no, it's not this one. Lada sitting in the white room. Someone was scared her. Her glass with wine fell off. So this is also more like telling the facts, because for the story there isn't enough details. This glass of wine was turned over because there was poison in the wine, and the victim turned it over. So here looks more like the story because of some facts that influence, yeah. Suspicious falling of the glass. One king drank wine at dinner, but it turned out to be poison and he is dead. One woman was very sad. She was crying all evening and drinking wine. So do you have your ideas with wine? Nothing? Okay. Look at picture number 10. Do you know how we call this thing? What is it? This is the magnifying glass. A glass that makes all the objects bigger. Yeah? So as for the stories presented, this magnifying glass was Sherlock Holmes, and this glass was found recently. This is a magnifying glass of the famous detective, which is in its museum named his name. In the one house was Sherlock Holmes, and he was forgetting magnifying glass. So here all the stories which are presented are connected with the Sherlock Holmes. But it's possible also to think about the Alice in Wonderland, yeah, who changed her shapes and was bigger, smaller all the time. So are there any stories with the pictures we looked through? Okay, not for now. So I want to say thank you to Andrei Golubchuk for your active participation today. I think there is no need yet for voting because you're definitely the leader and you will get the prize for today's webinars. My congratulations to you. Before finish our webinar, I wanna one more time remind you what we have covered today. We start with discussion. We also discuss the importance of storytelling. We found out what makes a great story and how to develop the structure and the elements of the story. And we have a great chance practicing with storytelling. Yeah, we found out that it's not so easy as it might seem, but with practicing, it's possible to improve yourself in this skill as well. I want to finish with the quotation you might see on the screen. Great stories happen to those who can tell them. So, what's your story? Think about your summer. Is there anything you can tell Okay, we have one more story. Let's read it by the end. Yeah. Once upon a time, boy found a strange magnifier in his grandfather's basement of strange things, but it's not making things bigger, it makes you smaller. Mhm. Great ideas. So, thank you so much. One more time, I congratulate you with winning the prize. Enjoy the last days of your summer and see you soon. Bye bye.